Okay, welcome back everyone. This is the grade 11, the 10th lesson, that is about share market. Okay, now in this lesson, the meaning of share, what do you understand? It is the normal meaning. Share in the sense, you take something and divide it into portions. You share between people, okay? Now, if you consider the normal business in big companies, what they do is, now think of a big business they are going to start. Say it's about a big amount. It's not a small business. Say it's something about a big business. What these people do is, if you take the full business, the full income, the full capital, these people divide it into many parts, and then they allow people to buy these. Understand? People who has now, say a people who wanted, a person who wanted to start a business, say he has a small amount of money, a few. So what he can do is, without starting a big business, he can buy only few shares, maybe one or two, or if he has more money, he can buy 2-3 shares. Understand? So the total, when the business goes on, the total income, the income also will be shared according to their shares. Are you clear with that part? Now say a person owns only one share, so that person will get a small income, and person who owns more number of shares will get more profit. The loss is also shared in the same basis. Are you clear with that part? Okay, that means the person who owns a few shares will come across a small loss, and a person who is owning more number of shares will come across a big loss. Understand? Okay. Now the second word we have to come across is dividend. Now dividend, it is the profit. It is the profit given by each of the shares. Now normally we express this as the dividend we get for one share. For one share, what is the amount you get? Understand? Okay. And then you have to understand what is primary market. You have few terms to understand here before we solve problems. Now when you understand these terms, the solving problems, it is just easy. It's just about you have just calculations. You have to just understand only the words here. What is the primary market? It is where the investors, okay, it's where the investors buy shares issued by the company. Understand? From the company, these people, investors means the people who are going to invest in the company. This is related to the company. Understand? It is where investors buy shares issued by the company. Are you clear? Okay. Next you have two more words related to this, and then primary market, and then you have secondary market. Now this is related to the company, no? Okay. Now secondary market, it is not something that is related to the company, but it is the thing, it is related to the people who invest, the investors. Understand? Now you can say where trading occurs by the investors. Okay, you have two markets here. One is the primary market, like that is the main market that is issued by the company, from the company side, okay. And the secondary market, it is related to the investors. Understand? Is that clear? Okay. And you have the market price. What is this market price? That is price of a share, or price of shares, whatever, price of shares in the secondary market. That means when we deal with investors, the price of the shares. Are you clear with this part? Okay. And then we have a few more. We have what is purchase price and selling price. What would it be? Purchase price. You would definitely understand these words just by looking at the word, right? purchase price and selling price. Now what is meant by purchase price? Okay, that is the price you buy share. You can maybe you buy it from the main market, primary market or secondary market. It is just the price at which you buy, understand? And then selling price, it is the price you sell shares at, the price at which you sell shares, selling price. Those two words are easy. And then you have capital gain and capital loss. Capital gain and capital loss. What is this capital gain? Capital gain means, say you buy few shares, say you buy something for 50,000. Say you sell it for 60,000. There is a gain, right? An income. You sell it for with a profit. There you get a gain, something that you have. And then what is capital loss? That means you buy something for a price, for a fixed price, and then you sell it for a price that is lesser than the price you bought. Are you clear with these terms? Okay. So at first, let us now, since you all know these terms, let us solve a question. Okay. The important thing is here you should know what is dividend and then market price. That's all. So solving questions will be very easy. We'll move on to the seventh question, that is in page 20. Okay, here they say a person bought 100 shares, sorry, 1000 shares. Okay, a person is buying 1000 shares in a company which pays annual dividends of 6 per share. See, a dividend is 6 per share. That means from one share is getting an amount of income of 6 rupees. Okay, and he is buying at the market price of 40 per share. Market price is 40. That means he is buying one share for 40 rupees. Okay, after receiving dividends for a year, he sold his shares on an occasion when the market price of shares had increased. Now for 1 year he is keeping all the shares. This person is owning it, and then after, now from one share is getting an income of 6 rupees now. So after he gets all this dividend at the end of first year or 1 year, this person is selling all these shares, but he is selling it for a high amount. Okay, when the price of a share had been increased, he is selling all the shares. Okay, and they are telling you his total income from the dividend and the sale of shares was 71,000. Okay, once he sold all this, dividend plus selling price is equal to 71,000. Is that clear? Okay, and the first one, it says how much was the annual dividends from this investment. Now how do you find out annual dividend from this investment? So it's easy, right? Annual dividend means you have to find the total dividend you get from all the shares. So it looks very easy. You know the dividend from one share, that is 6 multiplied by number of shares. Number of shares is equal to 1000. Therefore the annual dividend is equal to 6,000 rupees. Okay, and then the second part, it says what was the selling price of a share. How do you find out? Okay, now look here. Once he sold all this, he's getting an amount of 71,000, right? This 71,000 includes the selling price plus the dividend. Okay, but you already know the dividend. Now if you subtract the dividend, you know the total selling price of these shares. So shall we find out? Okay, we'll find the selling price of all the shares. Okay, therefore selling price, first you have to, from 71,000 you have to subtract this 6,000. Okay, therefore here you have an amount of 65,000. This is the amount you get once you sell all the shares, but they're asking you what is the price of one share. So how do we find out? You know the number of shares, so you have to divide 65,000 by how many shares? Altogether he had owned 1000 shares. Therefore he is selling one share for 65 rupees. Is that clear? Yes. And then the third one, here there is no anything new, just all about calculations. You have to just understand these words: dividend, market price, shares. Understand? Okay. The next part is find his capital gain. Now capital gain means the amount he gets for his. Now first of all he must have invented an amount in the business. Finally, what is the amount he has in excess? Okay, how do we find out? Now once he solved all this, with all this dividend, he had an amount of 71,000, right? Okay, finally he had 71,000. Now from this 71,000, what should you subtract? How much did he invest in the company? How much? He had bought 1000 shares with a market price of 40. That means you have to multiply both, right? So you have to multiply, that is the amount he invested in the business. So you have to multiply 40 by 1000. That will give you 40,000. So 71,000 minus 40,000 will give you 31,000. That is his capital gain. Is that clear? Okay. So let us move on to one more question. That is on page number 21. We'll move on to the second question. Page number 21. Okay. Here, an investor who owns 1,500 shares in a company which pays annual dividends of 2 per share. Okay. He is owning 1,500 shares. Dividend it is 2 rupees. That means from one share he is getting an income of 2 rupees. Okay, is that clear? Okay. And then this person sold these shares at the market price of 32 rupees per share after receiving the annual dividends income. Now after he received all this income, he is selling all his shares at 32 per share. He is selling it per share. Is that clear? Okay. And then he invested the money he received by selling the shares in another company which pays annual dividends of 2 per share. Okay. Now after he sells all the shares per 32 rupees per share, he's investing all this money in another business which pays an annual dividend of 2 rupees. Okay. Now the market price at which he bought the shares in the second company was 40 per share. Now he's sold the shares which pays sold the shares per share after receiving the annual income. He invested the money in another company which pays annual dividend of 2 per share. The market price of which he bought the shares in the company was 40 per share. Okay, he is buying for how much? 40. In the second business he is buying a share for 40, okay, per share. And then show that the ratio of the dividends income from the first company to the dividends income from the second company is 5:4. From the first to the second company, you have to show that the dividend is equal to 5:4. Now let us find the dividend from the first company. Dividend from the first company. How do you find out? It is easy, right? Because you already know that from the first company he owned 1,500 shares and he gets a dividend of 2 from one share. Therefore total dividend is equal to 1,500. You have to multiply by 2. That will give you 3,000. Okay. And then now you have to find dividend of, I'll say annual dividend. Okay, annual dividend from the second company. Okay, how do you find out? Okay, it is like this. Okay, now from the first company he had 1,500 shares. He is selling all these shares for 32 rupees. That means now after he sells all these shares, he'll get an amount in his hand, right? Let us find how much is that. In order to solve this, amount he gets, you have to go step by step. Amount he gets, that is, you can multiply 1500 by the amount he sells each of the shares. There you will be getting 1500 into 32. You will be getting 48,000. Okay. Now once he sold all the shares in the first company, he has 48,000 in his hand. Now using this money, now he is going to buy shares from in the second company. Okay, how much is a share? It's 40,000. Okay, now let us find number of shares in the second company. Okay, in the second company, how much? He had a total of 48,000 and one share was just rupees 40. So when you solve, you will be getting 1200. Sorry, not rupees. Okay, you will get altogether 1200 shares in the second company. Now how do you find the annual dividend? You know altogether there are 1200 shares, and from one share is getting an annual dividend of 2 rupees. Therefore you have to multiply the annual dividend by the number of shares. So annual dividend from second company, you have to multiply 2 by how many shares is on it? 1200. That is going to give you 2400. Now you have to write as a ratio from the first company to the second company. So first and second, what was the annual dividend from the first company? It was 3,000. 3,000. So you write 3,000 to 2,400. So you can cancel off these, and then if you divide both sides by 6, you will be getting 5:4. So is our answer correct? Yes. Okay. So these are the ways of solving. Understand? You should know what is dividend, what is shares, number of shares. So that's all. Okay. And then we will try one more question. This looks a bit hard. An example from the book that is in page number 17. Page number 17. Here they're speaking about a person, Muhammad. He spent a certain amount from 96,000 he had in his hand to buy shares at 18 per share in company A. Now this person is dealing with two companies. Okay, he had altogether 96,000 in his hand. From this, okay, later they are telling you that to take the amount he invested in A company as X. Therefore, in the company A, he is investing amount, he is investing X rupees. Okay, and the balance he is investing in the company B. So what should be the balance? Now you don't know what is X. Therefore, you have to subtract X from 96,000. Therefore, since we don't know, we shall write 96,000 minus X. This is the amount they invested. Okay, and then from the company A, he gets an annual dividend of 2 rupees from company A. And also he spent the remaining amount to buy shares at 21 per share. Now in company B, and also this is the dividend, and here he is buying a share for 18 rupees. One share is equal to 18 rupees. Here one share is equal to 21 rupees. Here he is getting an annual dividend of 3.5 rupees. Okay, is that clear? He had 96,000. He's spending X rupees here. From this 96,000, he's spending X in the company A, and the balance is spending it in investing in company B. Therefore, from 96,000 you have to subtract X. Okay, in the company B, he is buying a share for 21 rupees, and then from company A is buying a share for 18 rupees. From company A is getting an annual dividend of 2 per share, and from company B is getting an annual dividend of 3.5 per share. Okay, at the end of a year, he received 1,000 rupees more as annual dividends income from company B than the amount he received from company B. Company A. That means from company B he is getting an excess amount of 1,000 than the amount he gets from company A. That's all they have given. Now Roman number 1, they're asking you, by taking the amount Mr. Mohammed invested in company as X, find and construct an equation in terms of X. How do you construct? Okay, it looks easy. Okay, now you know one information, that the total annual dividend he gets from company B is 1,000 more than the total annual dividends he gets from company A. So therefore you have to find out the annual dividend of A and annual dividend of B. Now how do we find out? Okay, now you know the amount invested. So you will let us find the number of shares. Okay, from company A, number of shares from company A. What was the total amount? X. And what was the amount of one share? It was 18. So this is the number of shares. Then from company B, how do we find number of shares? What was the total amount? It was 96,000 minus X. And what was the amount of one share? It was 21. This is the number of shares. Now what should you do? In order to find the annual dividend, now you know the number of shares, you know the annual dividend you get from company B per share, and also the amount, the dividend you get per share from company A. Now you have to annual dividend. You have to multiply this amount by the dividend, that is equal to 2. And also here annual dividend is equal to, how many shares are there altogether? 96,000 minus X over 21. You have to multiply by 3.5. So 3.5 I will write it as 7 over 2. So it will be easy for our calculations. Okay, now you know the total annual dividends. Now they have already said that the total annual dividend of the company from the company B is 1,000 more than the annual dividend from the company A. That means from this amount, if you subtract this amount, the value will be equal to 1,000. Therefore, let me write as an equation 96,000 minus X over 21, 702. From this, if you subtract this amount, that is X over 18 into 2, that is going to give you 1,000. Okay, they have just asked you to solve an equation. Roman number 1. Roman number 2, find the amount he invested. Yes, he invested in each company by solving the above equation. Now you can solve this equation. How do you solve? Okay, you can just simplify. If you simplify here, you will be getting 1, here 3. 3 into 2 is 6, here 1, here 9. Therefore you have 96,000 minus X over 6 minus X over 9 is equal to 1,000. And also, in order to cancel off these denominators, you can multiply both these fractions by 18, and also this side also by 18. That you will be getting, how do I show you? Okay, 96,000 minus X over, you had 6, so you multiply this by 18. Okay, because the LCM of 6 and 9 is 18. And also this side you have X over 9, isn't it? Yes, this also you multiply by 18, and on the right hand side you have 1000. This also you have to multiply by 1000. So when you solve here, you will be getting 2, here you get 3. So if you solve all this, you have here 96,000 minus x. You have to solve each of these. 2 into x will give you 2x. Here you get 18,000. So if you solve all this, if you multiply, the value of x will be, say, let us say this is Roman 2. They have asked you to find the values invested in each of the companies. Okay. Therefore, x, the value of x you will be getting is equal to 54,000. 54,000 rupees. Okay, now since you know 54,000, x is equal 54,000, that is the amount he invested in company A. Therefore, you can say in company A, it is equal to 54,000. So in company B, how do we find out? What was the total amount? Yeah, from 96,000, you have to subtract 54,000. That is going to give you, how much is it? 42,000, right? Yeah. So it is equal to 42,000. Okay, that part is clear, I hope. And then Roman number 3, they say find the number of shares he had in each company. So you already wrote equations, number of shares. So now since you know x, you can solve. For company A, you know x. How much is x? 54,000. You have to divide by 18. That will give you 3,000. Yeah. In company B, since you know this is equal to 42,000, you have to divide 42,000 by how much? Number of shares. Divide by 21. That is going to give you 2,000 shares. Okay. Okay. And then the next one, find the annual dividends income he received from each company. Even for this, you have already written the equation in terms of x. So if you substitute the values, you will be getting the answers. Now here, I'll say this as fourth one. Here you have found out that x over 18 is equal to 3,000. Therefore, I can write 3,000 into, how much is this? 2. This is the annual dividend. Yeah, that is equal to 6,000. That is for company A. And for company B, when you solve this, yes, you know the value, that is equal to 2,000. So directly I'll write 2,000 multiplied by 7 over 2, isn't it? Yes. So no, did I make a mistake? No, correct, right? Yeah. So 1,000 into 7 will give you 7,000. You have to mention these are rupees. Okay, you have to mention the units. So from company A is getting an annual dividend of 6,000, and from company is getting an annual dividend of 7,000. Okay, let us move on to the next part. Here it's about after receiving the annual income, Mr. Mohammed sold all the shares he owned in both companies at the market price of 20 per share. Now he's selling price per share. Selling price per share, that is equal to 20 rupees. Now altogether he had how many shares? He's selling all the shares. That means from company A and from company B. How much? Altogether he had an amount of total number of shares altogether 3,000 plus 2,000 is equal to 5,000. Therefore, what is the total amount he gets? Yeah, they have asked you Roman number 5. Find the total amount he made by selling all the shares in both companies. Therefore, you have to multiply 20 by total number of shares in both companies, 5,000. Therefore, that is equal to 100,000, 1 lakh. Okay, and then the last one. Okay, show that Mr. Mohammed's expectation of making a profit of 20% on his original investments through the dividends income and capital gain was not fulfilled. Now you have to find out that his profit was not 20%. Okay, Now how do you find out? You have to now find the capital gain he gets. Okay. Now when he started the business, how much did he invest? He had only 96,000, isn't it? Yes, when he started the business, he had just 96 in his hand. Okay, now after selling all these shares and all these stuffs, how much did he have in hand? Okay, now some might give me the answer saying 100, but it is wrong. This is the amount he got by selling only the shares. With this, he has the annual dividend also. How much is that? The dividend. He got 6,000 from company A and 7,000 from company B. That is the total amount. Understand? Total gain. Total will say total income. That is equal to 100,000 that you get by selling the shares and also 13,000 from the dividends. So the total here is equal to 113,000. But when he started the business, how much did he have? He had only 96,000. So you can find how much is the capital gain. So how much? Capital gain. So you have to subtract the amount he invested. How much is that? 96,000. You have to subtract 96,000 from 113,000. That is going to give you 13 and 4, 17,000. Okay. Yes. Now how do you solve? Now you have to show that the profit he gets, okay, it is not equal to, he is unable to make a 20% profit from the original investor. That means you know the profit now. Okay, this is the way you have to find the percentage. You know the profit, that is equal to 17,000 over what was the original investment? It was 96,000, isn't it? Yes. How do you find percentage? So you have to multiply by 1000 percentage. When you solve all these, you can just solve it and then find out the value you will be getting is 17.7 centimeter. Therefore, you can write a statement. His expectation was not fulfilled because he was unable to get 20 percentage. Is that clear? So here in this lesson, you got to learn only the meaning, the real meaning of these words, income, dividend, and all other calculations will be very easy. You have to find number of shares, all that. Okay, and then for more units, subscribe the channel. Then I'll be letting you know when I upload any videos related to this.